I should I do it, Nelson? Should we really have this episode, man? I don't
I
know, bro.
mean, I don't know, man. Is your name on the podcast? Or you you tell me.
Uh, so I know this is bad for business, and I know that I'm hurting sales, I'm hurting my image, and a lot of other people out there. I understand. Before y'all start coming and going crazy, I understand what I'm getting myself into here. But I'm gonna give you guys a quick little rundown on how to get better without me. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode of the BeBall Jones podcast. I'm BeBall. That's Nelson. I did it right the first time, but I'm getting good at it. So that's Nelson over there, man. Today we are breaking down and giving game to you guys. Should I do it, Nelson? Should we really have this episode, man? I don't
I
know,
mean, I don't know, man. Is your name on the podcast? Or you you tell me.
So I know this is bad for business, and I know that I'm hurting sales, I'm hurting my image, and a lot of other people out there. I understand. Before y'all start coming and going crazy, I understand what I'm getting myself into. But I'm gonna give you guys a quick little rundown on how to get better without me. How do you get your game going better without having a trainer? Not saying we aren't valuable and aren't needed, because you definitely need to get one. Let's clarify that from the jump. You need to get a trainer, but it is possible to get your game better and grow without having a trainer. And as we have as an example here, a D2 collegiate athlete, could have been D1. If y'all missed the episode, we talked about that before. So go back and find one of them. Matter of fact, listen to all of them, and you'll figure out which one it is.
You'll learn eventually.
Nah, man. So living proof right here that you can get the college ball without having a trainer. So today we're just gonna give you the game of how you can grow your game without having a trainer. How can you get to college ball without having a trainer? So I'll let the living proof give the first piece of game for you guys of how you can grow your game and get to college ball without a trainer, man. So Nelson, give them just one piece right now of what they can use to actually get good at hooping.
Well, I want to start off by saying, like, I never just, like, not had any kind of training, obviously. I had little workouts here and there with guys that, that train or coach or whatever. I had workouts and stuff. But I just never had a consistent, 3 days a week or 5 days a week kind of trainer, kind of service that you offer. I never had that growing up. Or even to this day, really. Like, I didn't really have somebody, quote-unquote, training me till I got to CSU. So I went through all middle school, high school, JUCO, all that without consistent training outside of my actual team and practice and stuff. But I would say the number one thing, the number one thing you need to remember if you don't have a trainer, because a lot of people in these rural areas, like where I grew up, like you grew up in the city or closer to Birmingham, so it's a little different. But in rural towns and stuff, like where I'm from, there ain't a whole lot of gyms, ain't a whole lot of trainers, stuff like that in that area. The main thing to remember, if you are already on a team, at least, I guess I should preface that, if you're already playing for a team, for a school, whatever, remember the things and the places that you are, remember the things you do and the places you normally are at on the floor when you're playing or practicing. Remember those things. Like, where am I normally when the game is going on? That's a good way to know what to work on. Like, I knew in middle school and high school, I was around the rim all the time, 24/7. I was gonna be around that rim because I was the center, so I was gonna always be around the rim. And so naturally, I worked on hook shots. Back then I worked on fadeaways and stuff, but I never really used. But I worked on a lot of hook shots, a lot of finishing. Like, I did a lot of micing drills. Tried to make sure I knew how to finish with both hands underneath the goal, stuff like that. Those are the things I worked on outside of practice, because those I knew I was going to be here eventually.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked on a lot of that. Also worked on a lot of like I tried to remember my footwork. I used to watch Hakeem Olajuwon videos and stuff like that. Also remember, that's I guess that's another little thing. Like look stuff up. If you ain't got a trainer, YouTube a trainer. I know a great one on YouTube that posts a lot of training videos. It's called BeBall Jones. Y'all look it up, and he got tons of little training videos that teach you everything you looking for: dribbling, ball handling, shooting, all type of videos like that. So y'all look that up in your own time. But look stuff up though. I used to look up Hakeem Olajuwon videos on post work and stuff because I have always admired Hakeem Olajuwon's footwork. Like footwork is a very underrated part of basketball that people don't really think about. But if you ain't never really thought about or like don't really understand what footwork is, you ever go watch little kids play basketball and they try to make a move and they travel every time they do it? That's footwork. So I used to admire Hakeem Olajuwon's footwork a lot. So I used to watch him a lot. I'm like, how does he do the dream shake? What makes it so like hard to stop? What has people guessing so wrong when he does it? So I used to work on that a lot, like back to the basket, the little shimmy, picking which side I'm gonna go to, stuff like that. I used to work on stuff like that a lot, and it turned into something because I knew, like, obviously I ain't 7 foot tall like Hakeem and stuff, but I knew I was my team center, and I was in a lot of the same positions that he would be in. So I just worked on those things. So I would say that's step number one to be getting better without a trainer is that if you're already playing or on a court, remember where you are most of the time that you're in the game, or what spots you like to get to. Remember like the areas you shoot the most from. That's the first step to learning how to get better, because at the end of the day, it's about getting better in the game. So like you can get better as an individual as you keep growing and keep working and stuff, but knowing where you fit in your team system or whatever y'all do and where you normally are in said system in the flow of that offense, that's going to help you get better to be on the floor more. Like, okay, if you were two guard and oftentimes as the two guard, you getting a three on the wing, like you get more three-point shots on the wing than any other shot. You probably need to be working on moves from that wing. Like, okay, I'm finna make 10 shots right here at this wing. Now I'm finna catch, pump fake, one dribble, pull up. Now I'm finna catch, pump fake, one dribble, two dribble, floater, whatever. Like work on things from working from that area on the floor. So even though you get more threes than anything, and you know that you'll be on this spot in the floor, like let's work on the threes and let's work on, okay, what do I do if the three ain't there? Like I'll pump fake and then do this, do that, whatever. That's adding on to what you already do is how you get better without training. So that's the main way I think about it, at least.
Yeah. I think my number one would be I think the most important piece that every hooper should make sure that they have is make sure that you're dressed for the part. You have to make sure that you have the right gear on. And I think the first piece that you should have is just a t-shirt that says progress is the only goal. As a reminder while you're training and working out that no matter the mistakes that you're making, no matter what your goal is, you can keep making progress and you can still keep getting better. I don't care how good you are, there's still more room to grow. I don't care how bad you are, there's still more room to grow. Just make progress your only goal. So I think that's the first and most important piece that every hooper should have. It doesn't matter if you have a trainer, don't have a trainer, kind of have a trainer, but you think you have a trainer, but not for real, you have a trainer. It doesn't matter. That's the most important piece to have progress the only goal in your closet in a part of your workouts. So that I'm done with the plug. But now seriously, all the podcasts get to you feel me, whenever we start dropping that, you feel
right.
me. But
Get your merch, get your merch.
Yeah. But, nah, seriously, piggybacking off of what you said, bro, is really being calculated with. I'm trying to debate on which side I want to go to, but really being calculated of what makes sense. So, like, what is the thing you need to work on? What is your game? So, kind of like what you were saying, man, like figuring out where your shots are, but also figuring out what your game is overall. Because if I'm a 6'3" playing post, sucks for you, bro. But figure out how to get your easy buckets in your game, but also figure out who do you see yourself resembling more of being like. So you could be, let's take you about 6'7" to 6'9". Let's say you're in that range. Are you a Klay Thompson? Are you a Trace McGrady? Are you a Jason Tatum? Are you a Devin Booker? Like, these are all different scopes of players, but they're all around the same. Except Devin Booker, like 6'5", but he's all within the same range of players of who you could model your game to be like. So figure out what your game is and model after that. So you're a post and you more slim built like a king. Watch a king. If you're not the fast, most athletic player and you're a guard, might want to watch Luka. Might want to watch Chris Paul, Steph Curry, Steve Nash, J Kidd, depending on your height and frame. Like, all these things matter. So find somebody to kind of steal and piggyback off of who makes sense for you, because that'll be the easiest thing to be like, okay, I see Chris Paul in a pick and roll does X, Y, and Z. Okay, then to make sure, how do I do that? What is he doing in the situation? What does he do with the pick and roll? Like, who's defending him? Who's doing stuff like that? The whole film session breakdown that you're doing by yourself, you can learn that stuff and bring that to your game, man. So I'll say that's the most important piece of, like, figuring out where you want to get to and figuring out what your game is, to now figure out how to get there by mimicking a player to add into it. So you don't have a trainer to correct your stuff with, but you keep watching Steph Curry, how he gets off on the all the off ball screens, the elevator screens, and all the curling stuff he does. Somebody gonna simulate and simmer into your brain to where when it's game time, you just do it without too much training behind it. You go out on a court by yourself, run around like crazy stuff, and you just figure it out by yourself, man. So figure out what your game is and figure out the steps to kind of get to where the goal is, because we have a lot of terrible coaches. You still have, because you're 6'3", you're only playing post type of coaches. So I hate it for you, my guy or young lady, but do what you can to stay on the team, stay on the court, but at the same time, still having the back of your brain is like, yo, bro, I might not be growing no more than 6'2". Let me get my ball handling straight. Let me get my jumper straight, because I'm not going to be doing sky hooks at 6'2" at varsity level. Might not be doing that JV. So, get that out your brain as soon as possible, man. So that's my first step of how to grow your game. And piggybacking off what you said, just have a goal or a vision of what your game is, and then have the right pieces to kind of fill in of, like, okay, Chris Paul, Steve Nash, Steph Curry, Kyrie, whoever, to where now you got these trainers to look at to where, okay, I can get this from Kyrie, this from Steph, this from him, this from that. So that's my first step of, like, how to get better without, a basketball trainer such as me.
Yeah, you definitely, what you said is definitely true. Also, you want to envision what you want your game to be like. And the best way to envision your game is to take pointers and, take game from somebody else. Just being real, like, it's a copycat league, as they say. And there's very few new moves coming out. You know what I'm saying? Like, So I ain't saying you can't make a move that's like your signature move, but there's very few new moves. So you want to take pieces from different people, like, and then that's what makes your game. Like, that's just part of it. But I would say, adding on to that, like you said, Kobe had a very, very good quote. I remember. He said people always coming up to him or ask him, like, man, how do I get better? How do I like, take my game to the next level? Things like that. And he said, I can't answer that for you. I can't tell you how you can get better or what you need to work on. Only you know what you need to work on. You know your game. You know what your strengths and weaknesses are. So work on those. Work on your weaknesses and make them strengths. And that's, step number 2, I would say, or the next important thing. If you really want to take your game to the next level, number one, you need to be honest with yourself. Something that I'm very good at. I'm very good about that. My coaches tell me all the time, like, Nelson, you very self-aware and honest, even with yourself. And they like that. They appreciate that, because some people are not. But you need to be honest with yourself first and foremost. If you're going to lie to anybody, don't lie to yourself. You need to be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, man, I can't shoot. Or, man, I can't dribble. Man, I can't make a left-hand layup. You need to be able to admit those things about yourself. And ain't nothing wrong with that. Nobody has a perfect game. You know, LeBron James, the best basketball player of our generation, and every single time he step on the floor, somebody gonna talk about the fact he can't shoot threes that great, or he can't shoot free throws that great. Whatever you want to say, you know what I'm saying? There's always more to be added to anybody's game. As great as Steph Curry can shoot, what do people say? Well, if you take away three, what does he do? Like, and then I don't believe in that either. But that's how people are. Now, my point is, there's no perfect game. There are strengths and weaknesses to every game. Now, you really only got two options when it comes to the game of basketball. At least there's only two options. In basketball, everybody has strengths and weaknesses. You can either make your strengths so strong that it's hard to stop and you can still get off, or you need to develop your weaknesses and get them to a point where, okay, if somebody take this away, I know I can get to this and still do good, still do what I need to do, still take care of my business. You know what I mean? So those are the main things. Like, you need to do one or the other. So you know what your strengths and weaknesses are. I would suggest you still work on your weaknesses, even if your strengths are that good. Like Steph Curry's strength is obviously the three ball. So his strength is so great, you really can't take it away from him. Like, he's so that good at threes that somebody can't just be like, all right, we're not gonna let Steph shoot. Like, somebody getting into the game saying, all right, don't let Steph shoot is like insanity. Because that's impossible. Like, you know good and well you're not gonna stop him from getting his shot off that long consistently. So he has made a strength of his so strong that you can't take it away, and it's always going to affect the game. It's always going to be there. He might not be making his threes all the time, but it's affecting the game because you have to focus on him so much. And then you got guys like, I would say, like LeBron. I think LeBron is a perfect example of the other side. When LeBron first came into the league, we knew he was getting to that rack. He had mid-range game and stuff, like he could pull up for the mid-range, and we knew he could pass. But we knew his strength was driving the basketball, getting to the rim. That was his main strength. And he wasn't that good of a shooter. But he was so good at driving that it was hard to stop him from getting to the rim because, you know, the strength, size, and athleticism that he had. But the people knew he wasn't a great shooter. And now at this point in his career, he shoots the ball so much better, like the three ball so much better. And like, that's part of, he knew what one of his weaknesses were. He also realized, like, okay, I'm not going to be able to drive as great as I've always been consistently because he's getting older. He developed more of a three-point shot, an outside game, because like, this is a weakness of my game. If I make it stronger, it's going to be harder to stop me. So those are your two prime examples. Them your only options in basketball, because it's not like you gonna have, like, it's very few players that can do everything. Like, shoot, pass, dribble, drive, post up, mid range, three ball, deep. Like, there's very few players that can do all of that. So you have your strengths and your weaknesses. You need to work on your weaknesses at all times, but you need to decide whether or not, okay, I know this is my role, so I'm going to make this part of my game so strong that they can't be taken away from me, or it's always going to affect the game. Or you need to realize, like, okay, I have the ball in my hand a lot. Let me make sure I can shoot, or let me make sure, even I'm a good shooter, let me make sure I have the ability to pump fake, get to the rim, and finish, or whatever, or pump fake and get to my mid range, get to a floater, whatever I can do. You know, those are the parts of the game that you need to realize. So be honest with yourself. Know what you can and can't do. Know what you're good at, what you're not good at, and work on those things. Make sure that your strengths are strong and your weaknesses are getting better consistently. And if you remember that as you go on and work on those things, then eventually you're going to be a pretty well-rounded player, and you're going to be pretty difficult to stop. So that's the main thing. Like, I would say that's the second most important thing. Be honest. Know what you really need to work on. What part of your game really needs to be worked on.
So it's not that you're mentally weak. It's just that you don't really understand where your mental toughness is. You don't understand where exactly you're mentally strong at. It's even crazy. You probably don't even really understand what mental toughness actually is. Now, I don't blame you, because usually we just have coaches yelling at us and fussing at us saying, hey, be mentally tough. You're being weak right now. You're being soft right now. but it's not the full scope, and it doesn't give you any true understanding of what mental toughness is and how you can get better at it. And so I'm here to help you guys out. Because just imagine I gave you a pill right here in my hand. Just imagine. And within that pill, it gave you just a epiphany where you just brain just blew up and you're just like, oh my goodness, you got so much better understanding. Now your game just grows by 10x and you just a whole different person now. Bro, I got the pill for you right here. Never fear. B's Mental Toughness Playbook ebook is here. You feel me? So in this whole little playbook I got for you, just a small little ebook, it breaks down the mental game of understanding what mental toughness is and different areas of what your mental toughness is and how you can actually grow it and get better and enhance it. So, look in the link, look in the description, and to go ahead and purchase it and do yourself a favor by just understanding what mental toughness actually is and also understanding how you can actually grow it and what you need to get better at it. So, just the Mental Toughness Playbook, small little ebook. I'm just trying to tell you, hey, can't say I didn't warn you. That's exactly what I tell my players, bro, when we're training. I use different vocabulary though. So I ask like, what's your superpower? What is that thing that you're great at? And they struggle with that. I'm like, I don't know. It's okay. When you playing against little brother, little sister, big whoever, you're an 8th grader and you're playing against 6th graders. What are you hands down going to? When you're playing against other 8th graders, what are you hands down going to? Now you're playing with big boys in high school. What are you hands down going to? You playing with grown men. You playing with older guys like me. What are you hands down going to? Whatever that answer is across the board, it's your superpower. So I don't care what game this is. I'm shooting the pin off the ball. Well, it's superpower. You're a shooter. You're a sniper. Like that's what you're going to do. You can get to the rim even if you throwing up stupid shots because you just can't maneuver against older people. But you know how to get to the goal. Well, it's your superpower. You know how to get the ball to the goal. If you know you're gonna have a little and1 mixtape package and you gonna break an ankle or two, you might not get the full ankle breakage against the older guy, but you got like type of bad to you. That's superpower. So like be aware, like you said, be self-aware. Like realize what your superpower is to where, oh, I'm pretty good at this thing because that adds confidence to know like no matter what court I step on, I can do this. Like for you, defensive rebounding. Like I might not get a bucket, but you're gonna have a pretty tough time scoring on me, my guy. Or you missed a couple of shots. I'm the one getting a rebound. Like y'all might not get a couple of rebounds, but I'm getting other rebounds. I know what y'all doing, but count on me for this. So be very self-aware to know what your superpower is. So once you do that, what your strengths are, like you were saying, I say go really hard on that, man. Like it varies from age level. So if you're a kid, like be aware of what your superpower is, because that will get you on the court to hoop, but don't like go all in to where that's all you trying to work on. Because like, bro, you're 2 foot tall. Like, yeah, that works against other 2 foot players, but like, come on, man. Like you might grow and be 7 foot now. So that's all you got. Like that ain't gonna work out. But high school and below, every single summer have 1 or 3 things that you always focus on working on. Like, especially when you play college ball, be mindful of that goal too. So like I'm training for high school and college ball. So you're gonna have to throw some pick and roll in there. You're gonna have to have some level of this type of defense. You're gonna have to be, if you're my height, you playing under 4 feet, bro. Like you're gonna have to have some type of tenacity, that heart, that dog in you to where you playing this type of ball. So know what your superpower is, know what your strengths are to where no matter what court you step on, no matter who on the court against you, they're gonna have a tough night or a tough evening going against this right here because this is what I bring to the floor. So be very aware of your superpower to where that brings you confidence and consistency to where no matter what court I step on, I know I can bring this. I'm having an off night, I'm having an off game, but I'm still going to bring this. I ain't got to worry about this. When coach subs you in, this thing they're looking for. So be very aware of the superpower, what you can do, what you're great at to where I ain't got to worry about that from else. I know defense rebounding. I ain't worried about that, bro. Like, that's not a question mark. It's like,
that's what
do I have like this? Yeah, I'm going to get that out of him. Now, will he score? I don't know. But I know for a fact I'm not questioning defensive rebounding. So what's that thing for you as a player that's like, I know I can do this? Once you know that answer, that should be like number one of how to get better at that. Like, so Flash is fast, but how can I make Flash even faster? What can I do to maximize his speed and make him even faster? But then counter that by saying, like you said, you're a great shooter. All you do is catch and shoot. Well, let's start branching off this tree now and say, let's do catch and shoot. Catch a 1 dribble pull-up, 2 dribble pull-ups. let's catch, pump fake, and get to the rim now. Not saying you have to be a great finisher, but have a nice little counter moves, 1 or 2 counter moves to where, well, superpower got limited. I still have backup plans over here. So know what your superpower is, know what your strengths are, but also have tweaks to where the strength is not automatically just cut off to where smart enough coach sees a game plan. Oh, she's a shooter. I do a shoot for like PJ Tucker. Boy, shoot from the corner on offense all the time. Get him out that corner, I ain't worried about no more. Like, he done. Get him on the wing or the top of the key, I'll live with that. That corner three, we got to get out and close in there. So, Clay, ooh, that's a long night, my guy. Like, he got 3-ball, midi, finish, off the dribble, anywhere around the perimeter. It's like, that's a tough night. So, don't be the guy that wears one lane or lady wears one lane and that's it. Like, have trickle down or branches down of your game to where this is my superpower, this is my strength, but I also have a little, jab in there too, where you cut this off or you game planning for this, but you don't knock at the mid range too. I know how to get to the rim. I might not score 30, but I can still get a nice little 16 and still be impactful. So weaknesses, I touch on that, but that's a different conversation from the age level. But I think at every level can use that advice of how you can get better out of training, man. Just know what your strengths are. Add steroids on top of that, but also have like derivatives or like branches off down from that to where it makes sense where I can still grow my game.
Thanks. And to like credit trainers, that's kind of part of what they do for us that, sometimes people can't really do for themselves. So this is something that like, having a trainer is a bonus in this way. And, like we said in the beginning, we're not trying to deter y'all from trainers, but we want to help people that don't really have access to trainers like that. Because that's how I was. I didn't have a trainer growing up. Didn't have one in the area. So, but we're not saying that to deter y'all from trainers. But trainers do that for us a lot of times. Trainers can oftentimes watch our game or see our game and can tell you like, yeah, you're really good at this. But I noticed when you go this way, you know it's not the same or whatever. I've noticed like you going left, you good with the pull up midi, but going right, you try to get all the way to the rim. Let's try to work on that pull up midi going right, stuff like that. But as a player, you don't really think about that because it's instinct to you. So in your mind, it's like okay, you're going left. In your mind, you're like, oh, pull up midi all day. It's good.
Yep. Yep.
But then you going right. You in your mind is like you're not very comfortable going right, pulling up. You ain't got the footwork down, stuff like that to do it this way. So now in your mind, you don't think about doing it. And you just keep going all the way to the rim, try to get all the way to the rim, or do something else with the ball. But in your mind, you would never think of like, man, I'm not very good with the pull-up midi going right. You know that, but you don't know that. You know what I'm saying? You don't think about it that way. A trainer will look at you and be like, yeah, you're real good going pull-up midi towards your left, but let's work on going pull-up midi right. And then you start doing this like, all right, give me 5 pull-up midis going to the right. And it's like you boing, clank, brick. And it's like, dang, I'm not very good going to the right. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And those are the little small intricacies of basketball that people don't really think about. Because like footwork and stuff, the crazy thing about basketball, footwork and stuff like that, really everything, footwork, where your hands are, how you maneuver your body, is one thing doing it one way. And then you got to learn how to do it going the opposite way. So even though you're doing the same move, doing it a different direction is almost like relearning the move. So it gets kind of difficult. And basketball is weird in that way. That's why so many people, not good with their left hand layups. Like, yes, they offhand. But when you really break it down, think about it. They literally did the same thing that they did on that left side. They could do the same thing on their right side and make it. And won't think twice about it, but then they do it on their left, and it's like, it's hard. It's harder in their mind, even though it's the same move. So it's like that with everything. So those are one of the bonuses of having a trainer, because like they will tell you, like, yeah, you're very weak going right. Like you can go right, but everybody in the gym know if you go right, you're gonna put your head down and go all the way to the rim, and then. You go left, you got to pull up midi. You ain't really trying to get all the way to the rim with the left. So those are one of the bonuses of having trainers, because sometimes people are not that self-aware. You might be honest with yourself and be like, yeah, I got a good pull up midi. Yeah, you do. Only this way though. If you ain't going this way, you ain't got it no more.
Yep.
So those are one of the bonuses, I would say. And you kind of need that sometimes. You need someone with that third person eye view.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, people. I've been a player a long time. We don't always want to listen to mama or daddy say, "Hey, you're not that good with your left hand" or whatever, or that guy in the crowd that's even though he probably been watching you all your life, you
Yep.
know, you don't always want to hear his mouth neither. But then you got a guy who is a trainer, like, yeah, you're very weak doing this, or you're not very good at this, and you most susceptible to listening. Like, oh well, if he said that, then it must be
Mm-hmm.
true.
Yep.
So that's what trainers are oftentimes good for.
Yeah. Yeah. Um we're the middleman and the translator from player message and parent, because a lot of times you shoot the messenger by what they say, but then they had to be like, man, go talk to her, man. I'm tired of dealing with it. I go talk to her, and it's like, all right, okay. And dad be like, that's what I told her. Like I told her the same thing. I
Yeah.
told him. I told him everything you just told him. I told him that, and I'm like, I got you. I understand. I have parents too. I don't listen to them either. It's okay.
Oh, listen to them. Try to tell you.
So, man, I will say this though, man. This is more for any parents listening or players who have issues with your parents, man. Find the middle man or woman person to where the message can come across. Like parents, use a trainer, use an older brother, use somebody to get the same message across, because they're not going to listen to you. Just get that out your head. Like they're not going to listen. I first thing I'm gonna do in place when I see my kid has someone that they attach to and I'm cool with. Hey, bro, go tell them this. I'm gonna tell them, but I want you to tell them because they listen to you. They gonna hear me. They gonna listen to you. I'm already had the game plan rigged, bro. Like I'm not gonna be mad about it. I'm gonna say it to get my piece off to say Dad told me, but I'm finna get the message clear. It's crystal clear. I know you listen to Uncle G, or you listen to Cousin Nelly, or you listen to trainer who such and such. You listen to BeBall because they got your ear. Fine, you want to listen to that? I don't care, bro. Don't listen to me. Hear me, but I know the same message gonna come across there. So I will utilize all resources that I can, bro. Hey, tell them the exact same thing because I know I trust you. Do your thing, bro. So parents, please utilize, if you got a good trainer in your corner, a good coach in your corner, older sibling, a big cousin, whoever that you have around them, a teammate they listen to, like your child's on freshman or JV, they listen to somebody on varsity. Use that as your advantage, man. So, um, yeah, I'll say that. But enough of that because that ain't supposed to be campaigning for me. Unless you want to campaign to get progress on the goal. Because once you get that bug in your ear about how you can grow, it's gonna be frustrating to, like he said, dealing with that left hand. It's gonna be frustrating to not be able to get that left hand right. But focus on the growth that you made with your left hand that you didn't get with your right hand before. Right hand's easy. You got that down. Once you start realizing, oh, the ball didn't hit that hard at the backboard this time, my left hand, I'm getting better. Okay, the ball actually hit the square like I needed to. I'm getting better. The ball hit softly off the square and actually hit the rim this time. I'm getting better. You keep making progress. At some point, you're gonna hit your goal of actually making it in there. But then it's like, okay, can I get 2 in a row? Can I get 3 in a row? Can I do it consistently now? So make progress your only goal. And just to keep that as a reminder, go ahead and get you one t-shirt. I got gray, white, and black. I have 2 different designs. I don't have a logo yet. I got somebody working on that, but I have 2 different designs for you guys that you can use as a reminder to just say, hey, I'm not there yet, but I'm making progress. That's all that matters. So progress is the only goal. Just since I'm just doing that, this just realize it's gonna be a theme this episode. It's gonna be funny, but I don't care. Just get progress on the goal as a reminder, man. So, um, but I think the next thing, man, that will help players, um, I think it's just really just realizing what is the thing you need to work on the most. Like, what will get the biggest bang for your buck? Like, you might want to work on your ball handling, cool, but will that get you the biggest difference of before and after? You might want to work on your shooting, but it's shooting the thing you really need to work on the most. So realizing what gets you the most uh impact on your game versus just doing something because it's cool or do something because your dad thinks is whatever. What, like, that's, yeah, you need to work on it, but man, if you're working on your finishing, that's next level. You worked on your ball handling. Like, think about that thing. It's like, yeah, of course you could work on your ball handling. Of course you could work on your shooting. But if you worked on your defense, hey, there ain't nobody touching you at that point. Or whatever that thing is for you. So if you're a great shooter, Might be working on your finishing. Might be working on your ball handling. If you're a great ball handler, work on the mid range, not necessarily 3 ball, but working on the mid range, or working on finishing better when you get to the rim, finishing left hands that are just all right hands. So whatever that thing is that makes your game next level to where, oh, just force them left. Or you can't force me left this year, bro. I'm working on my left hand all summer. So whatever that thing is for you that pushes the meter to where, I don't know how we gonna guard that G. Like she done set the game up, bro. Last year was forced to left and we had an easy little ride to, locking that up. But now she didn't got left and right hand. So I don't know. So that's my next nugget, man. Figure out what that thing is that brings the most impact to your game to where it's like, that's tough. So that's my next little nugget for him.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that one too. And I piggyback off that with a story. You know, I got to throw me a story in there every time. So when I first came to CSU, right? Boy, what a time that was. When I first came, as I mentioned earlier, I'm a very self-aware person. I like to know what it's going to be and what it's not going to be, So one of my first individual meetings, we did individual meetings like every month. My first individual meeting, I asked Coach, so what is my role on this team? What do you want out of me on a daily basis or, a nightly basis? He said, we brought you here to block shots, rebound, finish around the rim, run the floor. That's what we brought you here to do. So, kind of, do the dirty work type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. I'm with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm 100% bought in. That's one thing about me that, everybody ain't like that, but that's one thing about me. You let me know what it is. Hey, I got you. Don't lie to me, though. Don't tell me like, yeah, man, we need you. We going to throw you the ball every other time down on that block. And then it don't happen. Don't lie to me. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to lie. If that ain't my role, that ain't my role. I'm okay with that. I'm not a guy that needs to score the ball all the time. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm going to get mine, but I'm not a guy that got to score consistently or touch the ball. Excuse me. Touch the ball every time down. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that guy. Just let me know what you need out of me, and I'm going to do that for you. I'm going to do my best. So that's what he was. That's what he wanted. All right, cool. So offensively, I wasn't that skilled and stuff, but, I catch the ball around the rim. I'm expecting to score it, and I had a little bit of midi game. I can make a midi here and there. But that was all, they was going for offensively. If I ever took a three, he was like, hey, no. That ain't what we brought you to do. You know what I'm saying? That was Coach Moore for us. Like, hey, that ain't what we brought you to do. If I tried to make a pass, that was kind of like threading the needle a little bit too much, or make like how you make a pass. It ain't necessarily a flashy pass, but it's one of them passes like if it get through, like, man, that was a nice pass. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like one of them, and you dime it type stuff. Yeah. So not necessarily like, and I ain't like I threw me behind the back or behind my head or something, but like a dime. Like, okay, it was a good pass. If that ain't go through, hey Nelson, we ain't bring you here to pass. Mm-hmm. Like that ain't what you here for. That was the kind of coach I had. So naturally, I work on the things that I know he wants me to do. Obviously, it's hard to work on blocking shots and rebounds, but offensively, I work on, finishing around the rim, offensive moves, post-up moves, back to the basket, and mid-range. That's stuff I worked on in my workouts because I knew I was going to get that. But I also, especially in the off-season, worked on everything else to be an all-around basketball player. I'm working on my handles, working on the three-point shot, all that good stuff. Working on moves outside, face-up moves from the perimeter in case I catch it out there, because every now and then you will. You got to know what to do with the ball on every spot, on the floor. So that's part of it too. So in my off season and stuff, I worked on everything. I didn't just work on that because I knew this wasn't going to be the entirety of my game. Mm-hmm. Like, even though this is what my role is right now, your role can change. I am a living proof that your role will change over time if you work on those things. So that was my role my first year. My second year, I come in. And, I still, kind of the same role, but a little bit bigger. Like, you touch the ball a little bit more. My postal game is doing much better, trending in the right direction. And I'm shooting better.
That's what I say.
Progress, of course. Progress. And that's all I wanted, because progress is the only goal, as we say here at the BeBall Jones podcast. So, but I remember there's certain moments in my mind that I just never forget, even though they might not be big things, they're a big deal to me. So I remember one of our games against Georgia College. I remember the team and everything. We was at home. I had just got a block, right? And then we ran out, but they stopped us in transition. So I'm trailing the play. As I'm trailing, our guard Christian swings it over to me and trail. I caught it at the 3-point line and stopped. And my coach said, shoot it. Because dude was standing like at the free throw line. That was guarding me. When I caught it, he said, shoot it, boy. All net. And like I got the video on my phone just because that's how big a deal it was to me. When I made it, coach in the side of the camera, like throwing this fist, like happy. You know what I'm saying? He like, yeah, let's go. This and that. You know what I'm saying? Big moment for me because that let me know he trusted me to take that shot. And you know that's big when your coach trusts you. But it was bigger than me because I worked on it, and he recognized that. He knew I worked on it. You know. So he allowed me to do that in game. So now this 3-point shot ready. You know what I'm saying? Because now I got the confidence. I've seen one go in a real game. I'm here. Like, I'm ready now. So that moment sticks out to me in my mind. So now my third year, this past year, it's like, yeah, man, it's your team. You know, whatever shot I see fit is going to be cool. Not saying I can just take bad shots. But if I take a 3, it's cool. If I catch it, rip through, make a move, get somewhere, it's cool. It's like we good with him taking that shot. That is the progression of my game. It's like when I got in here, hey, no, we ain't bring you here to shoot. We ain't bring you here to pass. Hey, this 3-point line too far for you. You said that to me a couple times. I was kind of upset about that. I said, man, 3-point line's too far back for you. Stuff like that. So true, they even went so far as to, hey man, don't throw it in the post to him like that if he ain't got perfect position, because you know he ain't gonna score like that. So it went from that to my second year, like, hey man, when Nelson open, throw it to him in the post, we good with, back to the basket, that's his game. And then mid range and stuff. And if I catch an open 3, catch a shoot, take it. To my third year, like, hey man, a good shot for you is a good shot for us. You know, and that's what you want. So it ain't gonna all happen at one time. Ain't nobody getting better. Like, what they say, Rome wasn't built in a day. So don't think there's all just because you make a 3 in practice, all of a sudden he gonna let you be Steph Curry in the game. Like, no, you have to work on things and prove yourself to get that free reign. It took me 3 years, and that's just what it was because I knew that's how long it took to get to that point. And now I'm at a point where I can shoot 3 threes in a game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had a game where I took multiple threes, took big shots. I got game-winning threes on my highlights, So that's the progression that it took. And it took that long. So I don't want nobody thinking like, man, I worked on my 3-point shot this summer. Why coach ain't playing? Why coach don't let me shoot? He need to see you make more than one. Yeah. Like, we're not gonna give you the keys to the car because you took it around the corner one day. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not gonna do that. We gonna give the keys to the guy who been driving around for a minute before we get to you, who just took it around the corner to the store for us real quick and came back. So that's how you got to look at it, man. So don't expect it all to come at one time or in one day, but gradually know that you are working towards an end goal. So, of course, during the season and stuff, I worked on the things that I knew I needed to play and that he expected out of me, because this is what my team needs for me to win. But on my own time, I'm working on things that I need for me to win, if y'all get what I'm saying. For me to be as successful as possible for myself, I need to work on these things, because I need to be able to dribble. I need to be able to shoot. I need to be able to pass. I need to be able to see the floor differently at different spots, know how to move, how to maneuver, to take my game to the next level. That's winning for me personally. That's how you get, as much as team goals that's the main thing. Obviously, I'm a team player at that, so that's me. But they ain't giving out all conferences to guys who just block shots, rebound, and run the flow unless you averaging a double-double or something. You know what I'm saying? They ain't giving out MVPs to those guys. And I ain't trying to say that to say you need to score 20 neither, but work on the things that's going to elevate your game to the next level, to like becoming a great all-around player, not just a good role player or a good player in this position. Like, don't put yourself in a box. Know your role, but don't put yourself in a box. Know what it takes to be great at your position. and then work on those things, expand on those things, and make yourself a better player every day. Progress is the only goal. Every day you're gonna get a little bit better. And then by the time you like when you look up and realize all the work you put in, your coach will be saying, "Hey man, shoot it. Don't pass up that shot. Shoot it." Don't. That's what we work on. That's what we work for. So it's gonna come. Like I am a living proof. I am a living testimony that when you put the work in, it come around. You know what I'm saying? The work always gonna show. Is my favorite saying. The work always gonna show. So just trust it. That's all I can tell you. Just trust the process, and it's gonna come around.
Hey, relax. It's okay. Listen, I understand that your goal is so big that it just feels daunting. It just feels overwhelming. Like you're trying to get to the NBA, you're trying to get to the WNBA. You're trying to play D1 college ball. I understand sometimes that feels like a lot. But listen, you're not gonna make that jump from now tomorrow to be to the league or be in D1. So let's just slow down and focus on the whole journey. Enjoy where you're at right now, but don't get too comfortable. You have to still keep working. You still have to make some type of progress and still keep growing. All you gotta do is think about this. The minimum I can do today is get 1% better, you winning. Because there are some people gonna take a step backwards. There are some people that's gonna stop and just be equal. But technically you're not gonna be equal because I'm getting better than you, so it means you fell backwards now. And so you gotta get 1% better. Because it's a slow grind from where you're at now to where you want to get to. You don't have to worry about taking over the world in one day. Just take over step by step, one piece at a time, 1% better. It's a whole journey. Okay. You got this goal that's just hanging over you, weighing you down. But this goal, the end destination, it's not gonna change. So you have to appreciate the journey and taking steps to get there. You're a marathon runner, but the whole marathon is about focusing on that next step. So I need you to go ahead and look at whichever one you want. You can get this one, one of the other ones. But I need you to get this reminder for you. Get you a hoodie, a t-shirt, whichever one, as a reminder that progress is my only goal. And progress don't mean I'm perfect. Progress don't mean I'm there. Progress means I'm getting better. Because better and better adds up to being the best you that you can be. But the best is not existing because you're always going to get better. So get you this peaceful reminder right here to say, hey, all I got to do is be a little bit better, 1% better, and I'll get to that goal at some point. So remember, it's about the entire journey and not just the end goal, because progress is the only goal. Yeah, I think that's I don't want to talk about it because this ain't what the episode's about, but that's where you need trainers at, because a coach is goal is to narrow you in to be 100% to where all 5 guys I have from the floor 100% at this one specific thing. You're very task specific. I don't want you deviating one bit outside of this thing because my goal is to win. So if Nelson shooting his 3 does not help us win, we're limiting how many 3s he can shoot. If Nelson shooting the ball helps us win, we're going to maximize him being able to shoot. That's how simple, that's how coaches think. So don't take your feelings into account. Don't take parents on being your feelings when your player is not playing. If a good coach is thinking through that process, then whatever happens, happens. Because a good coach is saying, I want to win. Who can put me in the best position to win? So if you keep that in mind, all right, cool. Now, trainer thinks the exact opposite. If you suck at shooting, shoot the ball. Let's get as many reps as possible. Because Nelson not shooting the ball is terrible for me. I want you as a trainer to get reps in, bro. Like, do that. So when we get off, when we train or whatever, and we work on doing 2-on-2 or 3-on-3 or whatever, I'm mad if you don't shoot the ball, because we just trained for a whole hour for you to not shoot the ball. Like, bro, what are you doing? Now I'm mad because it's like, bro, you sit here and train, getting reps up, free throws, spot shooting, moving, off the pick and roll, catch and shoot. For you to drive, like, that's no, you wasting my time and yours. Shoot the ball. So we have the exact same thing in mind, but different perspectives. I think about like a triangle. So a coach sees the base of imagine like the points at the top, and for my audio listeners, the points at the top and like the flat, lines at the bottom. So I'm looking at from the bottom up to where I'm seeing the team first and individuals last. So I'm seeing what the team needs to have in place for us to win. A trainer sees the opposite, where I'm looking at the point to where the player fits into this team to where they can fit in to what the coach needs to where we can win. So that's why players need to have both of those perspectives, because the trainer is going to push you, the coach is pushing us and we or them. So you need both perspectives in your life, because you get both sides of that triangle, both perspectives of that triangle, to where it's like, oh snap, I need to shoot the ball, or I don't need to shoot the ball, I need to drive. So you need both of those just to have that note in your ear to be like, well, let me make sure I'm doing right by coach by making sure we win. Make sure I'm doing right by me to make sure I'm progressing my game in this direction. So that's all you need a trainer to. I ain't want to throw that in there, but I had to throw that in there because you brought that story up. So
No, you're absolutely right though, because I had to give a shout out to my guy, Coach Stephen Peebles and Carl Ivy. They were my assistant coaches in my 3-year stint at Columbus State. Coach Stephen Peebles was the first one I had when I first came. He moved on. Carl Ivy came in, was the grad assistant for these past 2 years I've been here. And those were the guys training me. So I had a trainer in a way. They were my coaches, but they trained me individually. So, but they understood that assignment of the fact that, yeah, this is what we need from you in game, and this is what you need to take your game to the next level. So you won't always just be blocking shots, rebounding, and running the floor. And they understood that for me, like, to make you a better all-around player, we're going to work on your ball handle. We're going to work on your outside shot. We're going to work on post moves. We're going to work on everything in between. So they understood that part of it. And if you are going to have a trainer, if you insist on it, whatever, I ain't like I said in the beginning, we're not trying to deter you away from that. But if you're going to have somebody training you or help you in that way, make sure they understand that. Don't have nobody training you to be in the box that you are in whenever you play. You need to work on those things, but that's not your entire game, and it won't be your entire game all your life. Now, if you 33 playing in the NBA or overseas league somewhere, that's probably your role. You're like, sorry.
Get that bag, bro. Get that bag.
Get the bag. That's what I'm saying. Get your money however you need to get it. You know what I'm saying? But if you in middle school, high school, college, work on what you need to work on for your team to win, and work on what you need to work on for you to win. Mm-hmm. Work on, because team success is great and amazing, and I want that for everybody. Everybody ain't gonna get it, but I want it for everybody. I want everybody to experience it. But you need to make sure you're gonna be successful at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And that ain't me telling you to be a ball hog. That ain't me telling you to take all the shots. That ain't me telling you that you need your touches. None of that. I'm telling you to work on the things that you need to take your game to the next level. Because at the end of the day, taking your game to the next level is a success. You are successful. Like, and I find a lot of solace in that fact. Like, man, I might not have had a championship in my college career, but I know for a fact every year I stepped on that floor, my game had took a step up every year. From freshman year JUCO to sophomore year JUCO, all the way through my 3 years of Columbus State. And my coaches can vouch for me. And anybody that's watched me from that time, you have seen me in all those years. Anybody can tell you how my game has progressed from year to year. So to be real with you, I can show you my highlights from every single season I played in college, and you could tell what was really worked on. Yeah. Like my freshman year JUCO highlights, kids, you not love. Hey, I feel like I was a great JUCO player, but I needed JUCO. And, you don't really know that in the time, but I needed JUCO, because if I show you my freshman year of JUCO highlights, all you're going to see is dunks, putbacks, a couple layups. You might have a couple of jump hooks here and there, and a couple middies here and there. And that's it. That is it. That's the entirety. It's like a 5-minute long highlights. Dunks, layups, hook shots, middies, stuff, putbacks. That's all you're going to see. And then, blocks and stuff in there. But offensively, that's all you're going to see. My sophomore year, you got a couple more jump shots. You got a couple more, post moves, hook shots, stuff like that. You still got the dunks and stuff in there, obviously. But you see a couple more of the little skill things that I couldn't do before. Then I get to Columbus State. Oh, now you're seeing everything. You see the jumper, see the 3-shot. You see the 3-ball. You see me handle the ball just a little bit. You see post moves work just a little bit more. See a little bit better footwork. You see all of that progress. You can see it literally in real time. Like, okay, freshman year highlights. Oh, it's a lot of dunks and layups. Second year, okay, you got a couple more jump shots, a couple more post moves. Columbus State, oh, you got a couple more post moves, couple, a better jumper, stuff like that. Last year, Columbus State, dang, this boy do a little bit of everything. Like, he dribbled a little bit, he got a little handle, got a little jump shot, stuff like that. And that's what you want. So that's what I really mean by that. Like, do what you got to do for your team to be successful, but make sure you do what you got to do to be successful personally. Whatever you want out of this game, make sure you work on that to get that. Whether you want to be a pro or whether you just want to get your college paid for, you want to go to college, play for college basketball, whether you want to be on the varsity team, you're in middle school, you want to make sure you make JV. Do what it takes to make sure your game takes the next step and go to the next level. So that's the main thing. And trainers are good for that. Trainers are good for letting you know what it takes and giving you the blueprint to do that. And that's great. But also realize it for yourself. If you ain't got one, you have all the capability to realize it for yourself and work on those things. And even if you don't know how to do it, just ask somebody. Ask somebody. Ask a trainer. YouTube some videos. Like, figure it out. BeBall Jones, hey, I need to work on dribbling. BeBall Jones dribbling videos. I promise you it'll pop up. BeBall Jones shooting videos. I promise you it's going to pop up. Whatever you need to work on, it's a way to figure it out and just get into it. Repetition. Keep getting it. Keep working it. And your game going to take that step. And that's it. Take it from me, dog. I'm telling you. I done been in every role. I've been a role player. I've been a key piece. And I've been a star. So take it from me. So it's going to happen, though. The work going to always show.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie to you. Once again, this whole episode bad for business, but this is even worse for business. I have had dudes DM me and be like, "Yo, what can I do for X, Y, and Z?" I'm like, "All right, bro, just like okay." I put out a video about shooting, and he asked me something like, "Yeah, just DM me a video of you doing X, Y, and Z." He DM me, and I was like, "All right, cool, just do X, Y, and Z, and this will help your game out." It helped him. Did I get paid for that? Nope. Did he become a client? Did he become a player trainer on it? Nope. I don't care. Like. So if you feel led to, bro, like if you understand what we talking about, but you need help or something, bro, please hit me up and I will gladly just be like, all right, bro, dude, this is what I see for you. I need to see more, or I need to see more film or whatever to help you. But I have no issues with somebody DMing me and be like, hey, I need help with X, Y, and Z, or I'll understand whatever. I'm like, all right, bro, I've been putting out podcasts for 2 years, giving folks game, and I have not got paid for doing any of this. So don't feel like you can't DM me if you need specific help, because I've done it a lot. It's a lot of work that I put in, haven't got paid for. So yeah, just DM me, man. I'm pretty sure a lot of other trainers are the same. Well, I don't say a lot. Some other trainers out there are the same way. So I'm speaking for myself. I'll say that I'm one of the people who will hook you up, man. So just hit me up, man. I promise you, it's nothing. Like, it's straight. So, but yeah, I think the last piece that you guys need to add to your process of getting better without a trainer, it's going to be something to do with the mindset. I would not be me if I didn't bring up anything from the shoulders up perspective. It's the most important thing in my perspective in life. So first is just being willing to suck. That's the most important piece. This is not a plug for Progress to On Go, but it is a plug because I believe this. That's why I'm bringing it up. But like,
you have to be part of it, though.
A huge piece. In the beginning, you're going to suck at whatever you choose. Your goal is to get better. So if you're bad, it goes from bad to good. If you're good, from good to great, from great to excellent. So you're going to suck in that journey to getting better, to making progress. So accept that. Number 2 is be consistent and be disciplined, because if you can't be consistent, be disciplined, you can't go from suck to good or good to great, great to excellence or whatever. You're not going to see that because you're not putting in the work to get there. So be willing to be consistent. Way to do that is to write out a plan. Just be like, all right, I'm training every morning at 7. I'm training and lifting weights at 6 and then going to the court at 7, or whatever your thing is. Write a plan out, whether it's 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 5, doesn't matter. Have a game plan written down. A coach doesn't just say go out there and have fun. Coach has a playbook that he goes by. Same thing for your training. Have a goal of what you're doing every day. I'm working on ball handling, so I'm doing 30 minutes of ball handling every single day. I'm going to go out and take 500 shots every single day. Whatever your thing is, whatever your goal is, so we talk with superpower, whatever your weakness is, doesn't matter. Have a game plan for that. So be consistent, be disciplined, and just figure out how to get it done. If you overslept that day, you couldn't get done in the morning. Okay, how can I make it up in the afternoon? Have all these things in place, because there's no excuse. This whole episode is about no excuse, but you don't have a trainer, there's no excuse. We gave you a game plan on how to get better without it. Or I woke up late, or I'm tired, I'm sore. No excuse. Like, it's a simple way to get better. So be able to be disciplined and be consistent with your training, with your workout, because um, you're not going to see the growth. You're not going to see the progress without being able to consistently put it in. The high days, the low days doesn't matter. Be able to do that night in, night out, day in, day out, and be able to go through that while you suck. That's the hard part of like being terrible at it, but still putting the work in while you're not seeing the growth and seeing the change. So that's probably the most important piece of all of this, man. Is being able to realize that you're just gonna suck at it, be consistent, be disciplined, and have a plan. So um, that might be it for me, man. I think that's the last piece of what a player can use to get good without a trainer.
I think that's it for me also, man. So like y'all, we gave y'all a lot of game in this one. I'm actually kind of like passionate about this one because like I'm a firm believer in like a lot of people help me, but a lot of people ain't help me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like people throw in their tidbits and stuff, and people obviously helped me along the way. I would never take that away from nobody. I know the people who helped me along the way and the people that believed in me, but this some like this basketball stuff in any sport really, almost in anything, you got to put this work in on your own. And I just feel that like nobody gonna make you get up and go do that. Trainers ain't gonna make you get up and go do that. You got to go do it. And sometimes you know y'all, as some of y'all gonna be at the age where your parents are like, oh well, you gonna go. We paid for these lessons. You gonna go. This and
Mm-hmm.
that. You know what I'm saying? Somebody gonna make you go, but when they really come down to it, ain't nobody gonna make you put this work in, man. So it's up to y'all to get better. If you love this, you really want to be good, you want to be great. It's the work you got to put in, even if ain't nobody gonna help you do it. And that's just what it is, man. You know you love something if you get up to go do it on your own and ain't nobody got to make you. So
Mm-hmm.
let that be my last little nugget for the day, I guess, man. I hope y'all really got something out of it. Anything else you want to get to people before we get on out of here?
So I think I got it down to a 5-step process. Okay.
Okay,
So
we love process.
yeah. So first, you have to be self-aware. So you have to be aware of your game and what you're actually going to work on. Like, what are you going to be doing? Like, where should you go for the summer or whatever direction we're talking about? So be self-aware. That's the first step of self-awareness. Of first, even realizing that you need to work on something. Don't be arrogant and be just like, oh, I got it all together. Like, no, you need to work on something. So that's first. Second is being like I said, just the mental game of being disciplined. This is what I'm going to do. Being disciplined, being consistent. I didn't mention this with being accountable. Finding some level of accountability to make sure that you're going to be disciplined and be consistent. Know that you're going to suck. Like deal with that mental piece next. So my goal, except for I need to work on my shooting. My shooting is not my strength. Okay, I need to be disciplined and figure out that I need to do my shooting every day, whatever my thing is. Okay, I have to lock in that first before I do the rest of this. Because if you don't do that and realize that it's going to take work, the rest of this doesn't even matter. So
Mm-hmm.
have that conversation with yourself. Like, all right, all I got is defense and rebounding and blocking shots. And let me add something else to it. So I have to swallow that pill and say, all right, I need to work on my game and do this. I'm gonna be terrible at it. My footwork's gonna be bad. My touch and whatever's gonna be bad. I'm gonna dribble the ball off my foot a couple of times. But it's all good. It's okay because progress is on the go. While you get to that step, go ahead and get you a t-shirt or a hoodie that lines with that as a reminder. Just throwing it back in there again. Um, yeah, back to my list. Next is to actually set a goal. So what is my goal that I'm working on? So I realized that I need to work on something. What do I need to work on? But actually figuring out what does that goal kind of look like? Like what is my end goal? So like I'm working on shooting. That's probably the easy one to look at. I'm working on shooting. My goal is to um, work on catch and shoot. All I'm doing this summer is catch and shoot. Well, that's my end goal. So I'm self-aware. So I need to work on my shooting. My goal is to get to this goal of where I'm shooting, but what I need a number to that goal. So I'm making 1,000 shots this summer. Cool. I'm making 10,000 shots this summer. I'm making 50, whatever that is. Have a goal attached to that. I mean, a number attached to that goal so you know what you're doing. Next, to have a plan. So break it down and say, all right, I'm shooting 500 shots a day. I'm shooting X amount of shots this week. I'm shooting X amount of this. I'm doing X amount of that. Whatever the work is, like realize that I'm working 30 minutes my ball handling every single day. Whatever it is, to where you have a plan because that has to discipline and consistency, so on and so forth. Next is the kind of trial and error, like realize what's working and what's not working. You need to kind of like, okay, my shot's going good, but this ain't working over here. My shot is going in the right direction, but it ain't all the way right. So be able to work it out. And if you're working on a move, be able to go hoop. Just go hoop. I forgot to mention that. Go hoop. Go try it out. Like,
Oh
do a
yeah,
lot of that. That's
just go. Yeah, that's facts though. We did forget about that. Go play basketball. Don't just be trying to train without putting it to practice against real people. You got to go hoop also.
Yeah, go play, go hoop, 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 5-on-5, go hoop, go play. That's very important too. Like go out there and just throw yourself in the fire and just see what work and don't work. Okay, and then I think that's it. I don't know what number that was. We're just gonna say that was 4 or 5. But yeah, self awareness and so just be self-aware of what you need to work on. What is my thing I need to do? Just to be swallow that humble pie, take the humble pill, and just realize that I need to get better at my game. Next is just being having the conversation with yourself of like, okay, I need to I'm gonna just suck at this, I'm gonna be consistent, I'm gonna be disciplined. Figure out what your goal is, and figure out a plan to reach that goal, and then trial and error and just go hoop, have fun with it, man. So that's the steps that you guys can go through to get better this summer or get better whatever point you have without a trainer, man. So I think that's a solid little list that we came up with this episode of how to get better and grow your game without having one of me's around, you know, because everybody ain't BeBall Jones, you feel me? But you still can grow and get your game better. You can still make progress. You're on the goal without having a basketball trainer. You feel me? So I think that's a nice little blueprint we gave the people to go by, man. So I think that's a solid episode right there, man.
Oh yeah, every episode is a solid episode, but you know I might be a little biased. But with all that being said, man, that does it for another episode of the BeBall Jones podcast. We appreciate y'all for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe. Drop down in the comments. Let us know what you think, man. If you got any questions about how to get better, how to work on specific things, we got the trainer and the player right here, man. We the perfect people to ask, and we gonna make sure we get you an answer. So be sure, but before you do that, make sure you like and subscribe to the video. Don't be commenting on the video trying to get free game and you ain't even do a free subscribe on on the channel. But with that being said, be sure to follow Brian on social media. That's a better way to get in touch with him at BeBall Jones. That's BeBall Jones on all social media platforms. Get in touch with the man. And if you do want a trainer, well, we said we're not trying to deter you from trainers. They definitely have their place in the world. You got a great one right here if you're in the Birmingham area. Just look them up, man, on all social media. Then you follow me at NellyH34 on Twitter, at Nelson.Haskin on IG, and Nelson Haskin on Facebook. And I mean, I guess you asked me some stuff. I pretty much answered. You know, I'm a cool guy. I don't mind helping people. I always enjoy, you know, helping young players. Part of the reason I do the podcast. I always enjoy helping young players out, or just players in general. You know, you need some advice or want to ask me stuff. I don't mind helping y'all out. But be sure to follow the podcast on TikTok. It's going across the bottom of your screen. If you're watching on YouTube at BeBall Jones Podcast, so be sure to check us out over there and follow us over there.
Also, I don't have a name for the show yet, but I gotta start marketing and promoting it. On Fridays, man, I give you guys just quick little nuggets, quick little gems of how to get through your game, grow your game on the mental side. I'm a mental guy, so I had to give you some game on that side. So every Friday, quick little 5 minutes of just either mental how-tos, little motivation, or just helping you see the game from different perspectives. That's what my whole brand is about. Just thinking the game a little differently. So every Friday, it's available YouTube and audio platform, streaming, whatever term we're going to throw out there. It's available there. So every Friday, every morning, just giving you either motivation, a mental how-to, or just breaking down and seeing something from a different perspective to help you guys see that. So just another show. I don't have a name for it at all, but it's just gonna, you know, plug it anyway because I've been doing that for a minute. So I just had to do my due diligence. So since we just plugging stuff, I'm gonna start doing it in there too. So yes, hope you guys enjoy that next little show for Friday. So throw it in there. Continue, sir.
No problem, man. Y'all be sure to check out the 5-Minute Fridays, dropping every Friday. Quick little tidbits to help you with your game mentally. You know what I'm saying? Big part of the game. The mental side of the game gets kind of lost in the shuffle when we talk about developing the physical part of the game and actually playing it, but the mental side is just as important. So y'all be sure to check that out every Friday, man. But that does it for another episode, man. Once again, we appreciate y'all for listening. Be sure to check us out next week for another great episode. Check out the 5-Minute Friday this Friday, and the episode come out on Monday. So you got 2 in 1 every week. So once again, man, we appreciate y'all for listening. Be sure to check us out next week. And without further ado, man, we out.